What's up, Ada Gang? Welcome into Adapt Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. My name's Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're diving into everything world mobile. And I just want to say thank you to everybody here who's been hanging out there backstage. I do apologize for the late start here, just having to get a couple of things together. But hopefully you guys are enjoying your weekend so far as I'm enjoying my weekend. And of course, as we dive into the conversation, I can't do this by myself. I'm joined with two fellow World Mobile ambassadors to dive into the conversation. And so we've got, without any further ado, Cal, aka Clover Nodes. Welcome up. How are you, man?
Fareed, I'm doing great, man. That video that you just played always gets me so fired up. It's like a little party that I want to do every time I hear that video. It's so awesome. I love it. I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just came back, got my pump from the gym, and I'm ready to talk World Mobile. And as you said, that video hyping me up there as well. It's just crazy, right? How quickly the landscape is changing, not just within blockchain, but just focusing on World Mobile. There was the recent introduction of WMTX, and now that's already sort of, now being overtaken with this brand new rebrand, a lot of new services, et cetera. So I'm excited
Yes,
to dive into the
sir. You
conversation.
you don't need no
Go ahead.
pre-workout. Just listen to that same video and you good.
I'm gonna have to run it back definitely again. I'm gonna have to run it back. Now, of course, we're also joined by Rob, aka Trekpool. Rob, how are you, man?
You need to put a warning label on before you play that video, like seizure alert. Holy moly, that's in your face. That's for sure. I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's glad to have you here as always. We're going to be diving into obviously the World Mobile rebrand. There's some interesting progress on the testnet, and then some brand new phone plans here, which have also been released by the World Mobile team. But before we go any further, just want to quickly take the time to plug in the both of you guys. Of course, obviously the World Mobile Alliance, right, which is keeping the community here together. For anybody who's new here on the channel, if you haven't heard of the Alliance, check out the links down below. But in a nutshell, it aims to unite the entire mobile community here, providing you guys with all the latest updates. And also take the time to give a follow to Cal, aka Clover Nodes, and Rob, aka Trekpool, with the links down below as a part of today's video description. Now, I want to take an opportunity here to also just shout out some of the consistent viewers that are always tuning in here. So shout out to Andre, appreciate you. Josh G, we've got Vincent. We've got Blistering Earth Nodes in the house here as well. Appreciate you all making some time to join us here for today's conversation. And as a reminder, it's not a one-way street, right? So as you guys are watching here, if there's any particular questions or topics that you guys have, make sure to go ahead and leave them in the live chat. We'll obviously make sure to address as many of them as possible. We're going to try to keep our show here for today to roughly about an hour and 15 minutes. We've all got some additional things to take care of outside of the World Mobile and crypto community. So hopefully you guys can understand that. But again, just want to reiterate the fact that this is not just a session where you guys come in to listen to us. We're always more than welcome and open to hearing your feedback here as the World Mobile community. We've also got Jeff, aka Delta Earth Notes, who's tuned into the house here. We've got EarthPath. Thank you for the long-time support. It does mean a lot. A lot of Earth Node operators here. So maybe that's one of the topics that we dive into here as a part of today's conversation. But I'm seeing a lot of people here that have updated their profile pictures here. Blistering Earth Nodes, one of them. Cal, you've also updated your PFP to that brand new shiny yellow. I don't even know what to describe that as, So maybe we sort of just kick the conversation off with that. There's been a massive rebrand. I've just opened up today's show, sort of recapping that. But what are your guys' thoughts initially about that rebrand? And I want to maybe jump over to Rob first, because kudos to him. He actually pointed out the little tease, right? And this was sort of Rob putting on his investigative hat, which he obviously wears outside of the crypto space, but applying that here to the community and giving us that heads up there. And lo and behold, that was the tease of the brand new logo. So Rob, we'll come over to you first, but what are your thoughts about the rebrand as we get ready to dive into everything World Mobile?
Well, I think there's a couple ways to look at it, and I think the way they rolled it out, you definitely, if you've paid attention in the chats, there are people that are not as much a fan, and there's others that absolutely love it. It's very in your face, that bright yellow. I've always thought that yellow is it's something for an outline, a highlight, something that just emphasizes little things, but as it came out originally, the way it was presented, it's in your face, it's everywhere. It's like that video. Um, but then we saw that the website came out, and you see it in context. The yellow is not. It acts like a highlight. It acts like a emphasizing little details as opposed to being the dominant color there. And so I think that, like I said, for better or for worse, you know, they laid it out in a couple stages. I don't think it was intentional, and we know that there's a couple of hiccups. There's so many things going on with this website that are going to um, you're going to be able to incorporate everything you're doing world mobile wise. And so they had to make sure that the right pieces of the website were out at the right times. And so I think because there's so much going on there, they had to make sure everything was updated properly. So they're going to roll out the logo with the yellow, and then they were going to very shortly after, within like an hour or two, ideally, roll out the whole website. And there was a delay there, and so I think that just caused more speculation and more commentary on the different opinions. If you look at the website, like I said, it's the yellow. It's a highlighter. It's very subtle, and it blends very smoothly. If you look at the website, it's uh, you get a feel like there's a complete package there, and which I feel like we didn't have originally with the original branding, with the original website. It was hodgepodge in some respects, whereas they've really tied a lot of things in together. One of the things they like to point out is, you have the W for the world mobile. You can see right here behind me. So if I have my fingers getting cut off. But then you had the Earth node. I'm sorry, the WMT logo, which was then used on the Earth node NFTs, and then that changed a couple months back to a kind of a smoother, more cohesive logo. And they've changed again to say, you know what, we're not doing two different logos, we're doing one. And then they've incorporated the hex around it, because of everything the hexagonal that is embedded in what World Mobile is doing with coverage. So, like I said, they've really streamlined a lot of things. My personal favorite is I like what I'm seeing right here. I like blacks and whites and grays. I think those look really good. They're clean, they're crisp, and then you throw in a little bit of yellow to highlight that and make it pop, and it's great. As far as the bright yellow in the background, maybe I'm on the wrong side of 40. I don't know. Get off my lawn, you nasty kid, whatever. But I really I like the look. My goal, and you might not know it from the way I ramble and talk so much. My goal is not to be in your face obnoxious, and so I'm always gonna be more reserved. Cal can attest to that. Cal wanted to do he's like, hey Rob, we should do a TikTok challenge to get some of this. I'm like, I don't even have a TikTok. That's different strokes for different folks, I guess. But like here, you have the logo. It's more subdued and subtle. You have more blacks, whites, and grays surrounding it. It's clean. It's a good look, and I think they put a lot of effort into it to market it so that you have one product. I'm sorry, you have multiple products with the same feel, the same logo, the same design. You know that when you look at something, you're not trying to piece together, well, that's similar to this, and the color scheme is similar to this. You're going to be able to recognize everything World Mobile based on this streamlined approach. And so I think it would have been better. In some respects, I don't know. It got a lot of interest, got a lot of people talking before that website came out. The website came out. There's other things to talk about. So maybe it was good that it came out a couple days early. I don't know. I definitely got people going on both sides of the conversation though, and so it's interesting to see what people think and how people have reacted to it.
Yeah, I think you hit on a couple of different things there. And there's actually something that I want to briefly take the opportunity to show here. And this is just how we as humans interpret the color yellow. And then Cal, I'm going to come over to you here in just a moment to get your thoughts. So taking a look here, typically when we see the color yellow, this is what it symbolizes: happiness, optimism, positivity, intellect. Some of the effects that particular color has on you, right? It helps to clarify things, inspire, amuse, and energize. And then some of the negatives, right, with the color yellow include cowardice, deception, egotism, or caution. Obviously, with the yellow, at like a stoplight, that's sort of ingrained within us, right? And so, just really interesting to take a look at how color plays a part into this. But what I will say is that going from sort of like the three colors that we had, which of course your background there displays very clearly, Rob, to a single color, for me, it seems a lot more flat. And that's sort of like, for lack of better terms, because it's just a single color now. I was a really big fan of sort of the tricolor approach there with that orange ribbon, that reddish, and then that purple. I think that it blended really well. And then I think now, just looking at the new logo and just in general, it seems to also be a little bit more modern, and they've taken a much simpler approach. Now, I do also realize that, when it comes to recognizability, especially for brands, that is extremely important to have something that's simple and recognizable. And I think that the new logo, with the simplified look in that yellow, just being that single color, it does make it pop. So those are just my initial thoughts. We've also got, let's see here. This is from Don, a huge community supporter here from the mobile ecosystem, stating that the website is super smooth and he loves how it seems to be prepared to sell air nodes a la carte or on demand. We've also got a quick shout out here to Cardano with Paul. Appreciate you tuning in here, Paul, fellow content creator in the ecosystem. Always good to see you here in the chat. We've got Ada Lovelace stating, love the black and yellow, very modern and edgy, but can understand others might not necessarily be a fan of it. All right, Cal, over to you. What are your thoughts about the rebrand, and sort of what sticks out to you?
Yeah, so I'm more of a, I guess, on the other side of the spectrum when it comes to these things. I personally really like the yellow. I think that it pops a lot. I think that everyone that changed their profile picture, their PFP, is a true legend. And I think that every time you see someone with that profile picture with the yellow on the background, it just pops, and then it automatically catches your eye. Rob touched on a lot of good points. The team has talked about this for a very long time. They wanted to combine the website into essentially a centric place where everyone can come into one place and have their air notes monetized from there. Like, they can have their earth notes checked from there. There's just one unified place where you can come in and sort of understand what World Mobile is trying to achieve with their blockchain side, with their privacy first approach. But I guess I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind. I've seen a few posts, in regards to new plans. By the way, there's 3 new plans. So basically, World Mobile did a brand new website, right? A new logo with a new visual identity, and they offer three new plans, which are the Central plan, which is a United States only plan for $59 a month. They have the Advanced USA, which is your top tier plan, $85 a month, and then you have your Global Access, which is data only. That's for $70 a month. So, again, I wanted to I guess put something out that's in my mind, because I got a few DMs from people. I saw some community members on Discord as well as Telegram, and these questions are mainly about the cost of these 3 plans. People asked, why do I need to pay $60 per month to World Mobile when AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon? I don't think Verizon offers the same plans with more data, but they're close to the price that World Mobile offers these plans. So, if you're asking these questions, I don't think you understand the goal of what World Mobile is achieving here. And I mean to say that in the nicest way. But this is why we host these spaces, right? To break these questions down and to answer some of these questions. So what World Mobile is bringing here, it's, to me, it's very unique, right? It's not offered in the space till now, and this is the first plan that actually offers you rewards, and it offers them back. It actually pays you back to subscribe. So this is the only plan that I know of that offers full SIM protection, right? And I can go into a little bit of a detail what that means a little bit later. But this is essentially the first mobile network operator that runs on blockchain and does not monetize from your privacy. meaning that for the first time ever, you're actually in control of your own data, your own privacy, and this alone right there is, to me at least, worth switching over, right? You might even pay a little bit more for your plan, but you get all of these benefits. So I think the one and most important reason here, and the reason why I said that maybe some people don't quite understand what World Mobile is offering here with these plans at the current rate, is because when you subscribe and purchase a plan from World Mobile, everything actually goes back to the sharing economy. So your monthly payment, it's not going back to executives at the top. You're not enriching a selective amount of people. It's actually going back to the users of the network, to the operators, the Earth node operators, the Air node operators, and it obviously goes back to secure the chain and to the stakers. So there's actually a post that Hope Not Hype, Dave, by the way, shout out to him. He pointed out that 85% of the revenue generated by World Mobile goes back to the sharing economy. So that to me, is a proven point why you would want to sign up for these plans. So let's talk about the great benefits now that I mentioned earlier. SIM swap insurance. Like, what is SIM swap insurance? This is essentially, it's more geared towards like the crypto bros, I would say. People that have high net worth, they have they want further protection, obviously, with their digital assets. There's also identity theft insurance, right? So a lot of people have gone through that, and it totally sucks when it happens. So when you sign up to one of these 3 plans, you would automatically get your SIM swap insurance or identity theft insurance, right? You get your obviously unlimited calls, text data, all this without a contract. I mean, the data is capped at a certain amount, but if you look at it, even when they cap you, it's actually pretty decent. Afterwards, you can buy additional data with each plan. Obviously, the data is secured through encryption, and they're going to be offering decentralized storage, VPN, all these stuff are going to come. Now, another important thing that I wanted to touch on is the 99% nationwide coverage is what World Mobile claims. And how do you ask they achieve this, right? So it's very simple. World Mobile has roaming agreements in place with different partners. So I'll give an example here. Basically, if let's say I just talked to one of my really good friends. He has Verizon. He was thinking about switching to T-Mobile recently, and I was like, oh, perfect timing. Let me tell you about this new network. It's called World Mobile, right? I asked him, why do you want to switch to T-Mobile? And his call dropped because he was home, and then he has Verizon, and he doesn't have reception in his home. This, by the way, is a very common thing with a lot of these networks. So what World Mobile does is essentially it can jump on any of the partner networks. So if you're at home and you don't have reception, you're not kind of stuck to your own carrier, and you would be using another network. So you essentially will have that 99% coverage, right? Which is kind of unheard of. And that alone right there it's an excellent selling point. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and then maybe we can all break this down, but there's something called premier staking, and anyone that joins through one of those 3 plans is eligible to get this premium staking. So it's really cool. I mean, they offer up to like 15% on the black tier. There's like 5 tiers, I believe. Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now. There's 6 tiers, sorry. And the highest discount you can actually get is 15% against your plan, meaning that if you're in this black tier and you've staked 250,000 WMTX token, then you can get up to 15% discounted on your monthly plan paid out in WMTX tokens. And this right there alone is it's super lucrative to me, right? Nobody offers that. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, nobody offers that. I mean, there's other perks. There's referral boosts, right? So if you decide to bring on family or friends or whoever, like me, for example, who I'm going to be bringing my friend yesterday that I talked to, who wants to jump on T-Mobile, but he's going to be jumping on World Mobile instead. So there you go. That's a referral boost right there. So I get a certain percentage for bringing him on the network. Everyone loves priority access when it comes to air nodes. That's one of the perks that you can get. So that allows you right there, obviously, early access to air nodes. There's all types of stuff like, VIP events, insider access. You get your discounts on air node hardware right there. On the top tier, 7.5% is from $100,000 for a Titan. That's $7,500. That right there alone is a huge, huge discount, right? But I'll give you a little alpha. Let's say you're a Hex Guardian and you bid on a Hex and you want to obviously now monetize the people that you've brought onto the network. And let's say you want to do a sale on air nodes. Well, this discount could apply to that air node hardware sale that you've given to people. So you can pocket that 7.5%. So if you sell like 3 or 4 Titans in the area, I'll let you do the math, how much you can make from that. So all of this together, like bundles, and it makes total sense. The more I talk about it, the more people start realizing, okay, cool, this makes a lot of sense. I totally want to sign up for this. And also global travel SIM plans. If you travel a lot, you get data to travel with your plan. I go back to Europe every year to see my family, so this eSIM plan totally makes sense. You get your Dragon Pass. I don't think anyone knows what that is. Everyone's been asking, what is a Dragon Pass? Like, what's gonna happen there? Like, I have no idea what this is. It says Dragon Pass exclusive experience and partner discounts. We're yet to see what that is about. Spotify access. Everyone loves Spotify. I love Spotify. I need Spotify. So I want Spotify. And then scan for point boosts. If you are a huge scanner, which everyone should be, if you're scanning the network all the time, these points eventually are going to be convertible to gift cards. So you can shop around with different things. And if you get, 15% on the black tier boost, that can equate to some good numbers, and obviously bespoke phone numbers. If you're a business, if you want your phone to display, let's say DAP Central, when you call someone, that right there is also an offering that World Mobile does. If you want to sign up your entire company, it's a good selling point, in my opinion. So lots of different things that World Mobile is offering. And the more I dive deep into this, the more I'm like, all right, cool, I need to sign up to this. When are they coming out? That's the big question, right? When are they coming out? So personally very excited for, and I'm on that list, by the way, and can't wait for them to come out.
Cal dropping the bomb there for us. I appreciate that. So much to dive into. And Rob sort of highlighted this earlier, right? Like with this brand new website, there's so much content that I, as a creator, haven't even had the time to dive into every single corner. So I think what you just done there just really laid down a really good foundation for what is new. But I really urge everybody, I left a link to it as a part of one of the comments there in the live chat. Take a look at it. It's available at worldmobile.io/phone-plans. And they've got a wonderful breakdown of exactly what you're going to be getting with each one of these plans. If you're interested, again, let me just pull this back up here again, because the details are impressive. So not only do you get access to sort of just the basics here in terms of the amount of data that you're getting, the speed and the coverage, but you can actually expand each one of these different tiers to get a line by line breakdown, right, of how much you're being charged for one-time purchases, early termination, turbo boost. I mean, there is a lot of information to break down. It looks almost like a math paper, some sort of like white paper, given how much information is here. But this is what we need for people to make that informational or that educated, I would say, decision as to whether or not they want to jump into here. One thing that you broke down that I really want to sort of dive into is just some of those additional benefits here, right? Which include the privacy by design, which I think a lot of people have overlooked, especially with how comfortable we are now sharing our information. I was actually just, like I said, at the gym earlier, and I was listening to some content and ads were coming in here, and it was just mind blowing, how much of my information is obviously given to some of these companies to be able to send me targeted ads about things that I'm personally interested in. It made me take a second and think and just realize, the age that we're in, we share so much information without realizing that sometimes it is good to actually keep some of that information for yourself. And so just a couple of things to highlight here. Again, I've left a link to this particular website down below for anybody who wants to jump in. And then one thing that I don't think that we've discussed here yet has been this founder status. So it states here, if you're one of the first 1,000 subscribers on their USA and global access plan, you'll have the opportunity to claim what's known as the network founder status. This will allow for you to earn up to 100% in WMTX rewards when you commit to an annual plan with a scaled bonus for an additional 6 months on monthly subscriptions. And so again, this is interesting here. And obviously a push to get early adopters in here. Now, there's a lot for us to dive into. There's also been a couple of questions that have come in. I do want to just remind the viewers here, we will be jumping into questions and comments here in just a moment. But I want to give Rob the opportunity to also highlight a couple of things that maybe have stuck out to him as it relates to this brand new website rolling out here. So Rob, have your pick at it between the 3 phone plans, the network, or not the network, but the founder status, and just some of these additional tiers that we've broken down here. What sticks out to you? What are you interested in moving forward?
Well, I see Cal just looking at me like, oh, crap, Rob, don't say anything bad. Don't say anything.
Nah, have at it. Have at it.
We know you love it, Rob. We know you love it. You don't have to hide.
Apparently anytime I say anything or do anything that isn't yay world mobile, people come out with their pitchforks and say Rob should be kicked out, screw Rob, get rid of him. So do I say anything that doesn't sound 110% cheerleader-ish? There's a lot going on. Cal went through a ton of stuff. That founders status is that's a big one if you can afford to do it. If you look at what that is, there's some definite benefits there if you have some upfront cash. I'll just start off by listing a couple of concerns I have with all of this, because it's something people need to take into serious consideration. It's something I think World Mobile needs to make sure they have a plan for. We know that they watch these shows, more for you guys' content, which is great. But we know that they watch these shows, and they hopefully they take notes on certain things. The initial thing that jumps out to me is, for example, the founder status. That's a great thing. I'm a long-term holder of WMTX. I'm an Earth node operator. I believe in this. I'm here for the long term here. So I love the idea that if you pay for the first year up front, you're going to get 100% of what you paid back in WMTX at the market rate when you made the payment. Right now, it's like, 23 cents a token, right? So if you go and you do that, the advanced USA plan at $85 a month, that's like $1,020 worth of tokens. You're talking over 5,000 WMTX that's just going to sit there and wait for you and stake the entire way, right? There's like a 2-year lockup on that token, but how long have we been holding this for? Going on 4 years now. I mean, it's not like it's. I don't know a lot of people that have sold their tokens, their staking rewards, these types of things. So a lot of people, obviously, we want to make some money off of this at some point, and you need to take profits. But if I can say, hey, I'm going to pay for my phone plan, but I'm going to get 100% of that back in token. 2 years from now, if the price doesn't move, I get my money back. If the price goes up, hey, great. It's very likely the price is going to move up enough that you're not going to find that type of investment return in a lot of things unless you're really good at playing the game, right? You think 3 to 5% on very safe investments, maybe 5 to 7% on your typical index funds on the market, right? So you figure, well, if this price goes to 30 cents a token, All right, you're up 25% on your money in 2 years. It's a great return. So if you can afford it up front, that's great. The problem is, do you have $1,000 to drop up front on it, right? To get those perks. Again, these are perks, right? You're not going to get these perks through other companies, but that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money to come up with. The other thing is, you can't get a phone with World Mobile. They don't, it's not like you go to Verizon, AT&T, and you work out, all right, add 25, $30 a month on my phone plan so I don't have to go drop $1,200 on the new iPhone, right? So now if you want, and if you look at the list of compatibles, I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max is what I have, right? It's a brand new one. I got it. It's real nice. But that doesn't make their list of compatible phones for this initial fold plan rollout, which means if I want another comparable phone, the brand new one, my size is $1,200. So if I want to switch over and do this just for me, not counting my wife, that's $1,200 for a phone up front, unless I go through a payment plan through AT&T, or I'm sorry, through Apple directly, right? You can finance through Apple if you wanted to, but $1,200 on a phone, $1,000 to prepay for the entire year. Now, if this token runs to $1, let's say, all right, in 2 years you've more than paid for it, right? You've quadrupled your return. So it's just how you look at it. What do you have available? I guess the question I have is, for people who aren't crypto folks, for people who don't care about the sharing economy because all they're going to do is have a phone plan and just go live their lives, are they going to be excited about these rewards? It's for some people, it's going to bring them in, absolutely. For other people, are going to say, wait, that's more expensive than my current plan at Verizon or AT&T. Why would I do this? I can't even get a phone out of it. And so I think there's some hurdles, there's some hiccups, right? For people that are into this, or people that understand the air nodes, the earth nodes, the sharing economy, people know that you can buy these tokens and stake them. That's great. This is like the dream. It's the dream of, when you bought Bitcoin, what can you do with Bitcoin? It's a store of value. But can I stake it? Can I earn off it? No. You go to BlockFi, you go to Celsius, and then they go bankrupt and you lose all your Bitcoin, right? You're always looking for things that you can hold it because it's something you believe in, but you want to be able to expand with, and not just number go up. I was, for a long time, in fact, I left it because of World Mobile, but I was at crypto.com, and I had like the highest level, not the highest level tier. I had the second highest level tier. At the time, it was like 400,000 Crow. Now I got Crow and it was like 6 cents, right? But I traded all whatever. It really shot up there for a while. But that got me a 5% cash back tier on the debit card. So anytime I want to use my debit card, I would get 5% cash back. I was paying my mortgage with that debit card. I was getting like $1,000 plus every month in cash back on Crow. It was great. I was able to do all of those things, and it came with a discounted or a free Netflix. It came with a free Spotify. There's a couple things that it came with that were great perks, and it worked really, really well for me because that was my world. That was what I was into. I tell other people about it. You go to the bank and you have this metal debit card, and they're like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever. What is it?" I said, "That's my crypto cash back card. I use it as a debit card, and I get cash back in crypto." And people, ooh, I don't, you get various responses from people, but some people would get excited about it because they're familiar with it. Others, they might not get excited about it. And so my initial thought seeing these things is, hey, this is perfect for me, because even though this price is more than I'm paying right now, in reality, there's benefits because I'm involved in the sharing economy. There's benefits to staking. There's benefits to these free services like Spotify. There's the founders perk, where in 2 years you're gonna get 100% of what you put back if you prepay for a full year. So there's some definite perks there. This is my world. This is what I'm doing, and so it's like that makes sense to me. I want to do that. I'm all in. My concern is what's going to entice people that aren't in this realm to want to be a part of that when all they see is, wait, I can't get a phone, and my payment plans are going to be more expensive than they are right now at T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon. So there's definitely some concerns there, and I think that World Mobile The problem is we're speculating, and I'm sure I sound really negative and get the pitchforks out, screw Rob, whatever. But World Mobile has been very, very silent lately, right? And we all know why they're silent. We know when they go silent, we know what they're doing, and things are going to really pop off soon. But there has not been an AMA. There has not been any information about this other than a few people from the team making some posts or giving a little bit of additional feedback. So they roll these things out. They roll out the logo without context. Then they roll out the website and the phone plans are there, but there's no context to these things or what are your plans for this scenario. So because these are happening in stages and we're not getting any filler in between from the team, it leads to we start to fill up with ourselves, our own expectations. And I think from that, you're getting a bit of separation. You're getting a bit of hey, I'm all for this, and hey, I don't know, this sounds too good. And so I think it's important to point out both because this is something that World Mobile really needs to do a good job of with their marketing team, with how they sell this to make sure that people understand. Because a lot of people are going to switch over cell phone plans potentially. They're not going to want to buy air nodes. They're not going to want to put air nodes on their houses. They're just going to want a cell phone that works, a network that works good, and reliability. Others are like, holy crap! Like I had asked Cal a couple of times, what is SIM swap insurance? I've never experienced that, right? I've had an iPhone for years and I've stayed with the same company for most of my adult life. I don't know what any of this stuff means. And so there's some perks here that I'm not familiar with. And it's hard to get excited about something you don't understand. And so I think that the more this rolls out, the more World Mobile is going to have to do a good job of educating and then teaching people how to educate others as well, because they want us to sell this network for them, right? They're not going out all across the country putting up air nodes on rooftops. They're selling Hex Guardians. They're selling digital land and saying, all right, you're responsible. Go make this a profitable company. We get a kickback. You get the majority of it, right? So they want us to do it. They need to educate us on what this is, how this works, and help us to be successful in pitching and selling it to others. Because if we can't do it, this is not going to work very well here in the United States. And I think there's other places where there's no options where this is going to be huge, right? We know about Zanzibar and Mozambique and places, the Philippines. There's places where they're going to be able to roll out and really either partner with what's there or just make something their own because there's nothing else there. We know we believe in World Mobile, it's going to be great, but in order for this to be successful here, where there's more competition, probably, and the competition is the oligarchy. They're the ones that own everything. Fighting into that network, we're going to need some support here. And I think World Mobile, on the flip side, is hoping that there's some people here in this community that have the ability to help them spearhead that. Right? They can't do everything, but if there's people here that they're great at sales, they're great at marketing. I think that's where you're going to see some very, very successful Hex Guardians and some very successful deployment opportunities.
So I have not seen a single pitchfork come out, Rob. If anything, it's been a lot of support, actually. So the exact opposite. So we've got RV, love Rob, the fact that you are saying the truth. And I think that is what's going to ultimately push World Mobile to not just do the right thing, but to really grow, right? Because in life, we have to have a little bit of friction. It can't just be roses. And we can't enjoy the roses without a little bit of turbulence along the way to let us enjoy when there is no turbulence. Also got Dre saying 100%, Rob is right. And there was one other question, or not other question, but one other comment that came in here, again, from Accelerate Profits, longtime viewer and supporter here on the channel. Rob is being real. And I think we need that. So I know that there's obviously been some FUD on X. Trust me, Rob, I've been in that same exact position. What's crazy about this space is how quickly people forget, right? The value that you have actually brought, not just to, this channel, but to World Mobile and the Cardano community. So my 2 cents to you directly here, right, is let that be background noise. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to raise the good and continue to raise things that could be done better. If we're not doing that, and if World Mobile isn't willing to value what we say here after seeing us doing these streams, doing these X spaces for the last, what, 2+ years, right? I think that's a reflection on them and not on you. You've made it very clear what your intent is, in the community. In my eyes, right, 99% of the community understands where your heart and where your passion lies, which is to see World Mobile succeed, not the opposite. So I just want to take the opportunity to just briefly say that, because again, I've been in that situation where it seems like, the loudest thing in the room that you hear is the negativity. But let me reassure you, Rob, and Cal here as well, that you have the community support, and yes, we are all here to back you up. So to all the haters, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Honestly, being here as a content creator, hosting X Spaces, giving up a lot of private and personal time, right, to be here, it's a sacrifice, it's dedication. And to see someone like Rob get ousted, for not necessarily agreeing, I think that was, it wasn't the right thing. And so again, I just want to take the opportunity to just briefly highlight that there. So I'm trying to watch my language here, and I've seen you step up for me, Rob, and I feel like that's the least that I could do for you.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I appreciate it. This is what I see. This is the next step, and for me personally, as far as what World Mobile is doing, and it provides a lot of opportunity. I want to point out something that Jeff said here, real quick, when he talked about his staking and the benefits that you get back, depending on the different tiers. You put the WMTX in, and you're able to get returns based on how much you're paying per month. And I just wanted to point out, for me personally, when we switch over, and this goes back to what I said, I'm going with the highest tier, the $85 a month for both my phone line and my wife's. And we might not need that much. Mickey's talked about you use like 80% of your phone time either at home or at work. You're usually connected to Wi-Fi, and so it's pushing data that way, as opposed to through the typical phone plan. So unless you're on the road a lot, or you're just never connect to Wi-Fi anywhere, you're probably not going to use the 30 gigabytes of the high speed, even though everything's unlimited. You get priority for 30 gigs. The thing there is, though, I'm going to, because of, I see the long-term value benefits of this, and where I believe the token price can go, and where I believe this network is going to build to, I'm going to pay a little bit more up front, because that's going to bring in a lot more token, especially with 2 phone lines, than the cheaper plan. Talking $25 a month per line is the difference there. And so you do that, you're going to accumulate more token up front. So if you if you have it, if you have the ability to front load that and pay for a year in advance at the higher token level, you're going to get more token. And again, if the price runs, then hey, I was brilliant for thinking long term. If this goes to 0 or 1 cent, oh, I'm stupid. That sucks. That's dumb. But I think, and for the first year, right? And then after that, it's like, well, hey, I didn't use that much data. I'm not getting the founder's benefit anymore, that pay for a full year and get the token back. Maybe after that first year, when you've already prepaid for it, you drop back down to the essential plan, and you realize I didn't need that much data in the first place. But again, you're hedging yourself a little bit of extra money up front. And what could that mean if this thing does what we believe it's going to do? So again, if people are trying to weigh the decision, do I do this or that? Do I, do I stake to my Earth node versus do I stake to my phone plan? Like Jeff talked about, the 250,000 WMTX. But you have to figure out what are the perks versus the negatives. What's the long term versus the short term? When I actually dropped out of college because I got hired by the police department, and when I started dating my now wife, she said, you need to go back and finish. They're doing tuition reimbursement. So what I did is I actually charted out between 1 year and 4 years, doing school part-time, where the maximum benefit be from the tuition, the cost versus the tuition reimbursement versus what the department gives you when you have your bachelor's degree. And I charted this out, and I found the sweet spot where I can maximize the most amount of money over the length of my career based on what I put out versus what I'm getting back, and those reimbursements and the other pay benefits. And so it might take a little bit of calculation to figure out where does this fit? And we won't know that for Earth node operators, at least, until they really come out and say, here's what the rewards are, and here's what you're going to get as a perk for having additional stake to your Earth nodes, your personal stake versus additional delegation. How big do you want to try and market yourself in your Earth node to get these things? So once we see those numbers, people are going to have to make some decisions. Where do I take my personal WMTX and stake it? Do I stake it to my Earth node? Is there more perks if I stake it to my phone plan? But you start spreading these things out and figuring out dollar cost average and max value over time. And like I said, this should not be a lot of knee jerk stuff. If you're invested that big into this, if you're simply I'm a token holder and a phone plan guy, great. Then throw it on the phone plan. If you're I'm an Earth node operator, an air node operator, I plan on getting hexes, you're gonna have to figure this out to maximize your value, because there's going to be a lot of moving pieces right here. So just again, things to think about.
Yeah, and I want to just quickly, because there's so much I want to talk about, but I'm like, we're already at 45 minutes and the time has flown by. So first off, for the viewers, you guys have clearly heard Rob, and you also heard Cal earlier, who laid down the foundation about all these brand new phone plans. If you guys are not already following them, please take literally 2 seconds, jump on X, give them a follow. Links to both of their accounts are down below. If you aren't already subscribed or following the World Mobile Alliance, make sure to go ahead and do that there as well, because anytime that we're not streaming, they're also hosting X Spaces where they allow for the community to jump up and ask their questions there. And that's, again, every single week, and that's been going on for roughly the last 2 years. So a lot of really good information coming in here from the both of you. I see Cal is writing a lot of responses, and I'm going to turn over the mic to him in just a moment. But there's also a lot of questions that have come in that I wanted to take the opportunity to just briefly run through. And so you guys feel free to interrupt me at any point if there's any of these that you guys can answer. But I want to take the opportunity to just briefly touch on these here. So this is coming in from EarthPath, asking about the founder status. Is this just for the first year? So I'm actually going to be trying to answer some of these here in real time with you guys. Let me pull this back up and just sort of reread this here. But let's take a look at what exactly this says. So it states here that this is for the first 1,000 subscribers within their USA or Global Access plan. And it says that you're able to earn up to 100% in WMTX reward when you commit to the annual plan. So I'm not sure if that's how long the founder status lasts for, but it sounds like you need to at least commit to the annual plan. And then you're also able to get some additional scaled bonuses for the 6-month and monthly subscription. So this is a good question. If you aren't already in the Discord EarthPath, I know you're an Earth node operator, you're obviously in the Discord, but this might be a question for Manny or the actual team directly here. Again, unless Rob or Cal has the answer, but I'm not seeing any mentions of how long the founder status actually lasts for. So that's one of the perfect.
Answer.
And again, feel free to interrupt me. Go for it.
Yeah, so it depends on what plan you pick. So you can do the 10% bonus for a monthly, 50 for your 6 months. It says it right there, and 100% return on whatever you pay back, which is if you prepay for an annual subscription, right? So this is a one-time payment. 100% obviously if you do for the 12 months, and it's going to be locked for 2 years. And you can actually use these tokens that are going to be locked for 2 years in the ecosystem. So you can do the core staking, you can stake to an Earth node once mainnet goes live. But yeah, these tokens are going to be locked for 2 years.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Next question coming in here from Cotrix. Do I need to buy an air node for my phone to work at home? And I think I can take this one, but the answer to that is no. So you should still be able to use the World Mobile network. Again, keep in mind that not only are you able to connect to their network when there is air nodes or there are air nodes in the area, but anytime that there isn't, I believe that there's going to be some sort of roaming agreement signed up with a couple of other network other network and service providers to allow for you to still have connectivity within your local area. Now, this is interesting. This is coming in from Chad Sterling, and this is in regards to staking. And so, Rob, I feel like you may have just touched on this particular topic here with sort of weighing the benefits, as to whether or not to stake to a phone plan versus staking to, an Earth node, et cetera. But he's asking if he's got 250 currently staked, but not to the service, does he still get access to those benefits? And so, Rob, I'll let you take this one.
At this point, I think the answer is no. And the reason is that's specific to people who are also paying customers of the World Mobile Cellular Network. So what you'll do is if you have the phone plan, you stake there, you get those additional perks. Um, there's going to be a couple different types of staking, and I think Cal could actually speak better to this. But there'll be staking to an Earth node. There's staking to your SIM or your phone plan, and they're going to have different things. We haven't seen anything about what staking to the Earth node is going to look like yet. As far as rewards go, is it going to be just a fixed, say 5%, or is there going to be tiers like there is here, where if you qualify for the certain tier, you're going to get a little bonus on top of the base. Um, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. I mean, I know guys that um, have 25 WMTX. I know people that have 2.5 million WMTX. You know, and I guess the question is, should they be getting the same return if they're staking to an Earth node? Um, Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see what that looks like. Clearly, that's not the case for people that are also buying into the cellular plan. So I think as we see what the Earth node rewards are for Earth node operators, as we see it what the staking rewards are for people who are staking to the Earth nodes. There's some differences. We've asked too, and this is something that hasn't come up yet in this call, but it's been mentioned several times. If you have an Earth node, we've talked about this before. You have 100,000 WMTX in that Earth node in a smart contract. You sent away 100,000 WMTX. They sent you the Earth node back when the reservations initially happened and the NFT came out. That 100,000, if you have that, that does not count towards the wallet that you can stake to your cell phone plan, right? And so I know people that have 500,000 tokens, but they're all in Earth nodes. They will not qualify for that black tier plan under the cell phone plan if they move cellular networks. So we know that there's going to be additional rewards for operating Earth nodes that other people just holding tokens won't have, right? There's a lot of different income opportunities there. So it's apples and oranges, even though it's the same token, because it has to go one way or another. And so it'll be interesting to see when those different tiers come out, or those different rewards or reward structures come out for the Earth node, maybe just for general staking, what that looks like. And again, that's where that whole, it's gonna be a big chart with a lot of moving targets there. You have to figure out what's going to be the best opportunity for you and the assets that you have and your involvement in World Mobile.
Very nicely stated. And while this is still on my mind, if there's anybody from the World Mobile team who is watching this and who is open to feedback, I know a while back when it came to Earth nodes and just Earth node rewards, right? The team did a really good job of putting out these projections, which sort of broke down how much you'd earn depending on how many people were staked, the minimums, etc. And so I think with just so many different, number one, services and possibilities out there, and then just sort of the different use cases, or the way that people might come into the network, right? As Rob mentioned earlier, you've got some people that are super into Web3 or super into crypto who already sort of understand what World Mobile is doing. But then for somebody who's just coming in from the outside, who never has even heard of, blockchain, et cetera, WMTX, I think it'd be very helpful to put out projections in diagrams with just the varying possibilities as to how somebody could actually come in to the sharing economy and what might best suit their particular needs. Because again, the way that an Earth node operator might approach, their decision to getting a phone plan or not in the different tiers will vary greatly than someone who holds no WM2X, who has no additional vested interest other than just grabbing an actual phone plan. And so again, that's just sort of my 2 cents. I would love to hear from the team, and hopefully that's something that they've already sort of thought about. But as there's just more services, more plans, and more nuance, right? Which we obviously know crypto is a very nuanced thing in itself. We need more, I think, clarity and just more of a view of what the road looks like if we're to go with X versus Y and, blah, 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 blah. So hopefully that makes sense there. Let's jump into the last couple of questions here. And then I want to give Cal the opportunity to sort of chime in because again, Rob, I think laid down a lot of different things, including critiques. And I did see that you're obviously making some notes there as well. So again, let's roll through these last couple of questions and then we'll come over to you, Cal. This is coming in from EarthNote.io. Appreciate your support here, always tuning in and showing some love here. And this is about the phone compatibility. So Rob briefly hit on this, right? But he obviously within the US has just got a new phone. I think he said iPhone 13 Pro Max there. And that's not compatible with the eSIM features. So for anyone who just isn't aware, let me actually just quickly share this up here. There are some minimum requirements in order to be able to actually jump into the World Mobile Network or for them to be your service provider here. And so I'll leave the link to this in the live chat here in just a moment, as soon as I'm done talking. But keep in mind that there has to be two separate requirements that have to be met, or prerequisites. The first is that your phone has to be eSIM compatible. And the second is it has to be carrier unlocked. And so keep those two things in mind here. Looking at the USA specific plans, there's obviously a shorter list of capability or capable phones. And so here we've got the latest iPhones, and then it goes all the way back to the iPhone 14. So as Rob mentioned there earlier, he's unable to tap into this because he's literally one generation of the iPhone out. You've also got the breakdown here for Samsung phones, and then the same thing for Google phones. They've also outlined the same exact thing here for the, let me actually switch this tab here, for the travel or for the global plans, right? So here, what I love about this is the fact that this actually spans out a little bit further. So we can see that there is support from a global perspective for even more iPhones. So again, it's not necessarily the same restrictions depending on the type of plan that you're purchasing. Very similarly, there's more options here. So there's Motorola, the OnePlus, Nokia, Sony, Huawei, Sharp. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So just want to briefly highlight that there. In terms of compatibility, hopefully, as the phone providers themselves add eSIM support, for example, to the iPhone 13, World Mobile is then able to update their US-based list to also include that, right? I don't think that the World Mobile team has any sort of say-so or, sway over who adopts eSIM technology and who doesn't. But EarthNode, we didn't dive any deeper into that particular conversation, but hopefully just taking the time now to address that has been helpful. Maybe again, we keep that for the next stream there. We've got an additional question coming in here as we get ready to wrap up this brief segment. This is coming in from Zero Fix. And Cal, I'm not sure if you actually highlighted this, but you talked about the eSIM, the SIM swap features, the data coverage or the data privacy benefits. Is there also a built-in VPN piece of coverage or benefit? I'm not sure that I've seen that.
Trying to find my unmute button. I believe so. And it says, at least on the plans, that your personal data is secure with encryption and decentralized storage, right? So if you scroll down a little bit under the details that they're providing, it says that your privacy by design, your data stays truly yours with built-in VPN protection. So each plan is coming with the VPN protection, and it's fully encrypted. So this, yes, I believe the answer is yes to this. And obviously VPN comes built in with the price. There's no additional costs.
Got it. Yeah, what I would love to see here, and obviously this is maybe a question for the actual team, is the flexibility around the VPN, right? So are we able to choose where our data is routed from or to? I've got McAfee here at the house, and I'm able to pick, if I want to tunnel in and be in France and Argentina, etc. So would love to hear about what options are available from there and there as well. I think we've got one last question, and then Cal, I want to turn it over to you. And so this is coming in from Zero Fix, and I have not been in the Discord, so I do apologize for that. But he's asking if we've seen what Isaac has mentioned in the chat about a joint announcement not being a small telco. Have you guys been keeping up with any of that at all? Sounds like
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
it might be a delay here on my end. I apologize, Cal. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just didn't know if Rob wanted to chime in, but we have, and we can comment.
Okay, so obviously it looks like there is something of substance there, but that'll wrap it up there for some of the questions. I do see that there's more comments that have been coming in here. For the sake of time, guys, we've got to keep the show to about an hour and 15 minutes. So that means we only got 15 minutes left. Cal, you were taking a lot of notes there as Rob was sort of laying down his thoughts. Would love to hear your responses and then anything else that you want to add.
It's funny. I wasn't taking notes. I was just texting my wife. It's funny,
Well, you
but
had me fooled.
valid points that you guys all made, right? Valid points. I mean, shout out to Rob. He always lays it out how it is. That's why I love Rob. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. If he does not like something, he's gonna make it known. And I think that's very important when it comes to being an ambassador. Like, you can't just go out there and just give out the positives, because nothing is perfect. Link, I mean, everyone would expect that. Even with a brand new website, brand new redesign, it's going to be so many questions. And when we're just talking about these things right now, just between us three, obviously the audience has a ton of questions, but I myself also have a lot of different questions, right? What you just pointed out with the VPN, can we select a different region? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I'm sure nobody but the team knows the answer to that. But with that said, there's going to be a lot of documentation that's going to come out. I know the team's been working on a lot of these things. There's going to be spaces that are going to come out. There's going to be charts that are going to come out. A lot of these things are going to be known. The community is going to be involved in it, and they're going to, present it all to us. It's just going to take time, obviously, to lay it all out. There's a lot of information with this new website, right? There's so many different moving parts. So a lot of that's going to come out in blog style, text style, AMS style, all of that. And obviously, we're going to be here breaking it all for the community as well and trying to answer all these questions. What I wanted to say is that I like the fact how World Mobile has, I guess, an offering for everyone, right? So if you're not someone from the USA, you have your global access plan. We didn't really touch on that, but I wanted to go into a little bit of a detail to that. The global access plan is data only, right? So you might not be someone from the United States, and you probably are saying, well, what about me? Am I being left out? No, you're not. So I understand it's data only, but you get access to those premier staking discounts, exclusive perks, and all the stuff that we touched on earlier. There is another really cool thing that I noticed on the premier staking perks, and that is called partner airdrops. And this is obviously speculation that comes to my mind, but I know everyone loves Minutes Network, right? And everyone's been waiting for that MNTX now, the new token logo. I mean, ticker, sorry, not logo. It's called MNTX, and everyone's been waiting for that airdrop. Well, how about if, you're needing to sign up to one of these plans to get this airdrop, right? I'm not saying that's how it's going to happen, but it makes sense that it would. So with that said, there's other things that the team obviously is offering. There is, if you don't want to sign up to any of these plans, it's understandable. There's going to be staking. So people asked today, how can I stake my tokens if I'm not signing up to one of these plans? There's obviously the core staking. There's the Earth Node staking. We don't know what the percentages are going to be. What we know from the website, at least graphics, is that it's going to be a 5% stake for the core stake. However, this is actually not going to be I guess a hard cap 5%. It's going to be a variable 5%, and it's going to be dependent on the blockchain production. So people need to keep that in mind. Another thing that people need to keep in mind is that these are all separate programs. I didn't clearly understand that in the beginning. I thought that you can mix match, and let's say that if you stake 250,000 for the black tier, you get to also use that 250,000 for the core staking, but that's not the case. These are just all separate programs, and as Rob said earlier, it all comes down to math, and it all comes down to what you want to accomplish and what you need. Obviously, World Mobile, like I said, offers something for everyone. But at the end of the day, you are the one who needs to make this decision, and you are the one who needs to see what the benefits are from each staking model and what that's going to do for you. Are you going to be a Hex Guardian? Are you going to be bringing people on the network? All of these things you need to ask yourself, and that right there will determine which staking model you're going to go for.
Got it there, and thank you. I mean, Again, a lot of different things to consider here in the ecosystem. And as we get ready to dive into closing thoughts, so if you guys are able to prepare yourselves, please go ahead and do so now. I do want to take an opportunity to highlight one or two more questions that have just come in here. So this is coming in here from Freedom Guy 1776, asking if there's always going to be two tokens, WMT or WMTX. So maybe this is a question that we just, or a topic that we dive into very briefly here, but for the core community, I think they're all aware of the fact that, yes, we used to have WMT. There was the migration into WMTX. The hope, right, is that everybody migrates to WMTX. Now, will that happen? There's always going to be stragglers, people that maybe lost access to their wallets, etc. So I don't think that we're ever going to get to where it's like 100% of everyone's migrated and there's no WMT tokens that are just anywhere. But ideally, right, everyone should be using the WMTX token. So Freedom Guy, hopefully it answers your question. While there still may be some WMT out there, the WMTX token is the new sort of the token for World Mobile, right? So it's not the legacy token, for lack of better terms. Hopefully that answers your question there. And then Accelerate Profits asking about Amazon phones and whether or not those are safe. I've personally got no experience with Amazon phones. Like I left there in the live chat, Amazon is doing everything, and my thing is like, you can only do so many things well before you spread yourself thin. I will forever stick with Apple. I used to be a huge Android fan until I joined the Apple train. I realized that they do one thing, and that's phones, and they do it really well. Obviously, they've got other products, but I am a huge believer in iPhones and Android. So I'm not sure if you guys have any experience with Amazon phones. And if you guys do, feel free to chime in here. But those are just my general thoughts. All right, cool. I think that wraps it up there for questions. Again, just trying to be mindful of time here. We've got roughly about 7 minutes left. And so I want to give both of the two co-hosts here the opportunity to just sort of give us their last thoughts. Obviously, there's been a lot that we didn't even get the opportunity to discuss, which is why it's important to follow the Alliance and tune in for the space coming next week. But I'm also excited for the fact that we're going to have even more content to dive into as a part of our next live stream taking place on, let's see here, the 8th of March at 8 p.m. UTC. So same exact time as now, we'll be live again here on the 8th of March. In terms of closing thoughts, I know that Cal just went, so maybe Rob, we hand it over to you first, and then Cal will give you the final and parting words.
There's lots going on right now, and there's lots to be excited about. There's lots to be confused about. And I think it's imperative that World Mobile is very upfront about what's happening and how it's going to work, and allows the community to ask questions and get those answers in a place that you don't have to go searching on a Telegram for one answer and a Discord for another, and then Mickey comes on one of our spaces for 15 minutes on a different place. It'd be nice to see a centralized AMA over the website and AMA over the phone plan. Whatever the topic is, maybe just a long form thing, and then we can have people in the community that do their thing. Cal, WMTX lady, different people that break those down. People like, we're real blessed. We have people like Hydrex who goes into the Telegram. People like Nico who go onto the Telegram, go into the Discords and grab information, and they take all of these things, run them through AI, and get a depository of information that we can refer back to. It's those kind of incentives that the community brings that help supplement what World Mobile is doing. But we definitely need to hear from World Mobile, and we need to be able to get all the questions asked and answered. And so, because there's just so many different things going on here, and but again, like I said, a lot to be excited about. But hopefully shows like this, we've helped with some of the confusion. We've helped cut out some of the noise and make it a little bit easier to focus on what's what. And that's why I like doing these things. I like doing with Cal because Cal is so embedded in what's going on and sees through and discern so much of what's happening. You know, Fareed, you do an amazing job hosting, and it's getting people like you guys that are give value to what this community wants, needs, and is aiming for. So it's great to have leaders like you guys that I get to hang out with and do this with. And so, like I said, I'm excited for doing more of these spaces. I like doing them. I think that we provide some value here that maybe people might not get elsewhere. Um, I'd like to see World Mobile come out and clarify some things, and I think the reason they haven't done that is the combination of different things they're preparing to roll out that are going to go hand in hand with this. You know, the Earth nodes, Hex Guardians. These are all things. The cell phone planet. We've seen the plans; they haven't released yet, right? They're getting ready to have a smooth rollout for all of that. They're just trying to get people excited about it now. Sign up for that initial list, for the founders list, these different things. Um, I mean, like, the gates are about to open, right? We're standing right at the edge there, and the gates are about to open. And so now is the time just to make sure, if you have any questions, hey, how fast should I run once those gates open? What do I need to do to make sure I maximize once those gates open, once I can get inside? It's all there. So I want to say one thing too. This is completely off topic. However, it might not be moving forward. But I'm in about an hour or so. I'm going to get my oldest, and we're going to jump in the car, and we're going to drive about 2.5 hours. Uh, a friend of mine from way back, from about the time I was 19 years old. His name's David, and he's the lead singer, lead guitar player, also piano. He switches back and forth for a Christian band called Remedy Drive, and um, I've been listening to Remedy since I was 19 years old when they first started. But he has made it his mission, his life's mission, to combat sex trafficking and human trafficking. And so the last 4 albums he's released have all been counter trafficking albums, where he goes and he actually embeds himself with these companies that do this, these organizations that do this, but with the sex traffickers, and find them and get them arrested and free women and free children from sex slavery. And so he goes and he tours the world with his rock and roll band to shine a light on that. And if anyone was following me about a year and a half ago, about every other tweet that I made back in the day was about the movie Sound of Freedom that came out. And very, very powerful movie. I was really affected by that, but I was even more affected by it because I knew my friend David was one of the guys that was going undercover and doing that. And I haven't seen Remedy Drive play in about 6 years. And so I'm really, really excited to go and see him and his family, and introduce him to my son, and just be very, very motivated by what they're doing. And I think there's some opportunity there, as we, with World Mobile, connect the unconnected. He's trying to give freedom to those who are in slavery, and give hope to those who are hopeless and locked in this darkness. And so this is the first step, is just making shining a light on this and making it more real. So I wanted to just point that out. If you're looking for some inspiration, I posted a video a couple days ago of David. It's like a 15-minute long video, and all the music that's on that is David and Remedy Drive. It's all background music for the entire 15-minute video. And it's very, very powerful. It's exciting to watch. If you get a chance to go take a look at my X profile and look for that video, it's moving, it's powerful, and I'm hoping that as World Mobile moves forward, and I'm able to do things with my nodes, with my platform, with my business, whether that's called Trek or it's called something else. I want to incorporate that, because I believe in what David's doing. I believe in helping those that are powerless. You know, the whole thing with World Mobile right now: take your power back, find your power. Fight back against that system. There's people that just have no voice; they have no power, and I want to be a voice for that. And so, finding ways to amplify that through what World Mobile is doing, and whether it's funding, or whether it's me helping put up air nodes in places where they're deploying, kind of thing. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm excited about it. And it's one of those things where, as I transition out of law enforcement within the next 12 months, I'm going to be looking for something to do other than sit and play video games, read Lord of the Rings books. And so I'm excited about this, but that's why I'm cutting this early. Is that's where I'm going here in about an hour. We're gonna head out and go visit David and get inspired and listen to some amazing rock and roll music with Remedy Drive. So, anyways, thank you guys very much. That went a little bit longer, but I appreciate being here with all of you and talking all this stuff out because it's obviously stuff that we believe in, we care about, we're passionate about.
Yeah, very nicely stated. And we need more people like you and your friend David there. I watched that movie, The Sound of Freedom, that you mentioned, and yeah, that was an impactful movie there for me as well. I want to take the opportunity here very quickly. So Accelerate had mentioned the Amazon phones earlier, and I thought that I thought Accelerate was referring to Amazon branded phones. And so just want to clarify, if you're just buying, for example, an iPhone or something else like that from Amazon, I don't think that Amazon is, a bad choice there. But if you are looking for a platform, obviously I'm not getting paid by these guys. So this is just who I personally use here, and I'm in the USA. I use this platform called Swappa, which is literally just swappa.com, where you can come in, you could buy. They've got brand new mint version or all the way down to like, not hardly used, mildly used electronics. And so here you've got the option to pick between phones, laptops, and watches. And again, there's obviously refund policies and seller and buyer protections. But if you are looking for a phone and you want something that is unlocked from day one, because again, that is a requirement for World Mobile's plans, whether that's the USA plan or the global, they do have to be unlocked. You are able to buy unlocked phones from this platform directly. And again, you've got the option to pick in terms of the quality of the phone, whether it's something that's brand new, something that's lightly used in mint condition, or something that's a little bit more used in terms of just like the health. So I just wanted to quickly plug that in there.
And if I could just mention real quick, I bought a Google Pixel phone off of Amazon to go scan with. When it came, it was I bought it as an unlocked used phone that's been refurbished. It was locked, and I had to send it back to Amazon. So it's important that you know who your seller is, and if there's places that guarantee the unlock, like the site might, that's probably a better option, so you're not dealing with as much frustration.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And again, I can only vouch for my personal experience. I've bought, I think, 3 phones, 2 for myself and then 1 for someone else there. And anytime that I've had any issues, they were more than happy to refund me and get things settled out there. So just an option there for you. Want to also say shout out and hello to my fellow nationalist, D-Not. Thank you for tuning in here. Longtime viewer and supporter here on the channel. I appreciate you. Now, Cal, over to you for closing thoughts. But before we even do that, there is a question that came in here from Dom directed directly at you. When are you going to change that background color from purple to yellow?
That's funny. I was just thinking that myself, actually. I got to see if this little device right here has the yellow color. But if it does, you're going to see on the next stream. That's for sure. Because, this purple needs to change. As a matter of fact, this background of Rob probably is going to be changing eventually, unless we decided to keep it OG for forever. But I say we got to change it. So food for thought. I always learn from you guys. So shout out to both of you. For the viewers, if you guys don't know, Rob runs the stake pool Trek, and also Fareed runs another stake pool called DAP. So if you guys are ADA lovers like myself, make sure you stick to their stake pools. Again, I never even heard of this platform, Swappa. That's pretty cool, actually. I saw right there that they offer different options for carrier. So I wonder if we can email them and put World Mobile there, even though you have to have an unlocked phone. But eventually, things are going to change for the World Mobile, and we might even offer phones. Who knows? So being up there, shop by carrier, will be pretty cool, actually. Another thing I thought about, I was actually looking at the new iPhone, and I know you guys got to go, so I'm going to keep this short, right? But I was looking at the new iPhone that they just announced, and there's a bunch of carrier options there. So I wonder what's going to take for us as World Mobile to get onto Apple website and have one of the phones be sold as a World Mobile specifically branded phone, meaning it's only to our network. I know we're advocates of everything being unlocked, right? But it could be a really good way, and I'm saying that because I know the World Mobile team listens, and it could be a really good way when it comes to advertising, right? I mean, if you guys know how many people buy iPhones all the time, right? How many people go shop? So if you're able to get up there, I saw Boost Mobile as one of them, and Boost Mobile is not really that great of a operator. They're actually an MVNO. So if we're able to get up there as an MNO and offer a phone to be specifically bought for the World Mobile Network, that would be pretty cool, right? So one thing, I wanted to say, obviously, with this whole rebrand, right? I think we're gonna truly stand out of the competition. So we talked a lot of different things today. We touched on the cell phone plans. We touched on all the great benefits, and I personally think that we're definitely gonna stick out when it comes to the big three telecoms operators, right? So I guess if I can leave everyone what one thing here, it's World Mobile. It's always been about utility, right? And it's always about the utility it brings to people. It's always been about the value that it brings back to the sharing economy. So when you sign up to one of these plans, you're not only empowering the sharing economy, but you're actually given a chance for people to connect around the world. You're giving them a chance to and a tool almost, that's probably the most powerful tool, and that's the internet. So that's, to me, it's very important. So I just want to encourage everyone, to keep on scanning, keep on pushing forward with this. Tell all your family and friends about the incredible 3 plans that just launched with World Mobile, because soon enough, you're not only going to be telling them, right, you're actually going to be able to subscribe them onto one of these plans and earn from that. So very important there. And I hope everyone, has is very excited about these 3 plans. I know I am, for sure. One thing I wanted to plug here, that we did start a Hex Guardian Discord. If anyone who hasn't joined the Discord, there's a lot of people in there now, right? But if anyone who is interested in becoming a Hex Guardian, please DM me, and I'll be happy to give you an invite. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is that I'll be at Ethereum Denver this upcoming week with a few of the World Mobile people, and Rob might be there with me. We don't know yet. We're waiting for him to confirm. So if you are going to be attending that, I would love to meet you in person and talk to you in person, and we can talk about how amazing World Mobile is. So yeah, again, thank you to Fareed for doing these every Saturday. It's amazing. It gives me an outlet to talk about World Mobile and everything that it brings, and the amazing opportunities that it will bring to everyone. And I'm looking forward to our next stream.
Thank you. And I just wanted to reciprocate here for anybody who hasn't already followed the both of these guys. Obviously, I'm just the medium here. I'm the host, but they're the real content and the real information provider. So please, please, please take the opportunity, give them a follow. Links to everything is down below as a part of today's video description. Rob, again, I know you have to run here, but John Storm had left you a question here. John, if you aren't already in the Discord, Rob is in the Discord, but he's asking about a question that you had posed to Mickey about Earth Node operator rewards a while back. It came in at 3:29 p.m. Central Standard Time here. So again,
yeah, that was I think he's not Earth Node operator. That's node operator rewards. Yeah, for air nodes. And I think I was asking about like an Apex. And Apex has the you get rewarded for how many links are connected to it. So my question was basically, are we not connecting more links? Is expansion not rolling out or not? And I'm not sure. I got back exactly, because they don't tell you how many people are connecting to your node. That should be hopefully a metric that comes in the future. If you have an Apex node, if you have a portal, how many connections you're getting. Right now, we just see the data that rolls through them. So it'd be nice to know, especially since those connections are what increases your revenue. And so I wasn't clear on his response, but I'm not sure he understood my question. It'd be
I
nice
want
to
I
see those
want
metrics.
I want to chime in. By the way, they did have that in the AirNode dashboard. I remember because I mean you can't tell right now how many links are connected, and I got my Apex on the first sale, and after that they did briefly update how many links were connected to it. They took that out, by the way, and I remember that my revenue increased after the last sale when they dropped a bunch of links because they were in the area
Mm,
where my Apex was servicing, and that's why my revenue increased. So I, obviously it would totally make sense that once the US and Reno sales resume, which we've heard last time that they will resume pretty soon, that everyone revenue will increase, as well as the revenue from your portals and whoever owns the Titan and the future Titans that are going to be sold. Obviously, the more people sign up with these cell phone plans, the more of that revenue it's going to grow from the customers that are being serviced by these nodes.
perfect. Again, that's why I'm thankful to have the both of you guys on here, because you guys are not just listening, you guys are literally involved in the sharing economy. Thank you both there for taking the time to join me here. Rob, wishing you a safe trip and good time with your son. Cal, wishing you a wonderful evening hosting family. Ladies and gentlemen, that will bring us here to the close for today's show. A short one, but hopefully an information-packed one here. Hopefully you guys are able to get some benefit. If you're watching this live, I, of course, thank you very much. If you're watching this as a part of the replay, feel free to go ahead and leave a comment down below. I do watch those, and DNOT not only shows up live, but continues to even comment after the show. So DNOT, you're a standout supporter and subscriber here. I really do appreciate it. But for everybody else, again, thank you all so much. A lot of Earth node operators, air node operators, and people just even outside the orbital community. But this is what it's all about, getting the information out there. And again, making this not just a one-sided conversation. We always and will continue to welcome your feedback here as a viewer. If it's your first time stopping by DAP Central, first off, welcome in. My name is Fareed. I aim to provide you guys with coverage and content just like this, week in and week out. If you've appreciated this, please smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. That'll do it here for today's stream, everybody. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Take care.